This is the Louie T Network.
In the lab room.
It's good and bait for me, your me. Louie T, welcome. You are in the lab room. Of course, I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Week number playoff time. No more week number anything. It's playoff time. But it's the season finale of my pick show. Just wanted to come and put a nice, pretty bow on what was a great and very successful season 4 of the In the Lab Room program and the picks show and all of the things that I've been doing on the program. And I wanted to thank each and every single one of you out there who have subscribed, who are new subscribers, who have been subscribers, who tuned in each and every week faithfully, guys that sent me picks on a consistent basis. You made it a lot more fun to do this each and every single week. And I've already approached you guys and give you, and actually gave you, a little tidbit of what I'm thinking about doing next season. And I said I'm going to gauge the response from you all out there as far as how much do you want to do this. And I've talked about the league that I might potentially have picking games next season. And I'll give you guys more details if you guys are interested in doing this. If I don't feel like there's enough interest, if this doesn't garner enough chatter, and I don't hear enough people saying, hey, I'll sign up. And once again, you can say that. I've had people tell me year after year, yeah, I'm gonna play in the survival pool. I'm gonna play in the survival pool. When is that? And then when it comes around time for the survival pool, nobody's there. You know, just 5 or 6, 10, 11 guys, and not the whole 18, 19, 20 people that were chiming in and saying they were gonna play. So I know that means absolutely nothing. You guys can tell me you're gonna play and then don't play, but I still need to feel like there's a little bit of a buzz being generated by it. And if I feel like you guys are sincere in your pursuit of this endeavor, then we'll go through with it. If not, then we'll just continue to just give picks willy-nilly and you know, move forward like that. But I really would like to turn this into something bigger than that, something much more, with something on the line. I'm so competitive. I want to win. I'm a winner. That's what I do. I'm gonna talk about winning a little bit later on in the program because I issued a challenge to somebody last week and I had to get my W, and that's what I do. I get W's. And so let's quickly run through the week 17 picks that were given out by you, the viewers, and myself, and put a nice bow, like I said, on this regular season and as we head into the postseason. Week 17, Carmen Rana, 10-6, sole survivor pick of the Steelers. Carmen Rana, like I said, had been extremely hot. Last week was, it was okay. It wasn't great. This week, this was a tough week to predict. Week 17, always tough. Because again, and I talked about this last week and the week before, you don't know who's shutting it down. You don't know what team is going to play the string out and what team is going to just lay down and quit. And you don't know what the teams that actually have something to play for, how they're going to perform. Pressure's on. You got to go out. You got to get a W, like the Jets. And they could fold up like a tent, and that's what they did. And so there were some games out there. I talked about this. It's funny, and if you have been watching, then you know exactly what I said. I told you that the St. Louis Rams, with Jeff Fisher as their head coach, this is the type of game against the 49ers in week 17 that they go to San Francisco, a team that they should be able to beat in the division, family business, and they lay an egg. It's the type of game where they go there, they don't play the type of football that we saw them play a week prior against Seattle, where they beat the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle and dominated them thoroughly. They don't play that type of game. They go back to the other St. Louis Rams team that lost 5 straight in the middle of the season and cost them their season. They went back to that team, and I said in my picks, I said I don't like this game. I don't like the Rams in this spot because I think they're going to throw up all over themselves, but I was done picking the 49ers. They let me down against Cincinnati. I was done with those guys. So lo and behold, what did the Rams do? They go out and they choke. We didn't see the Cardinals getting steamrolled at home by the Seattle Seahawks. Nobody did. I didn't see the Dolphins. I thought the Dolphins quit. They went out and they beat the Patriots and banged Tom Brady up. You couldn't have predicted those things. I did predict the Bills over the Jets. I saw that one coming a mile away because Ryan Fitzpatrick is the quarterback of the New York Jets. But all that being said, 10-6 for Carmen Rana. The Steelers was a sole survivor pick. And look, it wasn't pretty, but it was gritty and a W. Steelers got it done. That was my sole survivor pick as well. So Steelers got it done for him. Carmen Rana, an outstanding year in the lab room. Big ups to Carmen Rana for being a consistent prognosticator here in the lab room. The final, let's say, 7 weeks of the season, thought he was here just about every week once he joined the circuit, and he was pretty much spot on each and every single week with his picks, getting double-digit wins just about every single week. If he gave me picks 7 weeks, I'd say of those 7 weeks, at least 5 of them were double-digit weeks. He was pretty strong down the stretch for Carmen Ronnie. Pure Chaos. First time I've gotten picks from Pure Chaos, and hey, better late than never, right? 10-6, double digits for Pure Chaos, and so that's cool, man. Would love to see you have joined earlier, but you didn't. But hey, respect for you coming to the circuit and dropping your picks in the box where they belong. And 10-6, not a bad debut here in the lab room. Hopefully you'll be back next year when we start the league and we're talking about having some money involved. Hopefully Pure Chaos will be back on the scene. But 10-6, not bad at all for a week that was pretty tricky. It could slip you up if you weren't careful. 10-6, not bad at all. Eduardo O'Neal, another veteran of the In the Lab Room program. He had a tough finish to the season. It was not pretty. After really having a string of weeks there, I want to say it was about a 5-week period where Eduardo O'Neal was as hot as anybody here in the lab room. There was definitely a 3-week window where he was just piping hot. I'm talking 11-5, 12-4, and it might have been another 11-5 or 10-6. He was hot. Well, last couple of weeks he struggled mightily. Didn't have a strong week last week, and he followed that up with an even worse week this week at 8-8. This was the type of week, though, if you went outside the box and you picked a team you had no business picking, like a Jacksonville or a Tennessee over Indy, you could easily have ended up with the 8-8 mark, and that's what Eduardo O'Neal ended up with. And so, not a great finish to the season, but I still respect Eduardo O'Neal for all that he has done here in the lab room this season. Big ups to Eduardo O'Neal, but you, my friend, finished on a very sour note. Flash Goodwin, Flash! Good win. Remember? That was the challenge I issued last week. And he talked some trash to me last week on Twitter, said, hey man, I've been getting you the last couple of weeks. And he had been. And he had every right to be excited about his picks because he had been razor sharp of late. And he won the In the Lab Room picks portion of the show last week. He was spot on. I want to say he went 12-4 last week. He was outstanding. And I think that was his second time being the front runner in 3 weeks. So he was really starting to ratchet it up here late in the season. And I remember when he first came on the scene, I had a really rough week. I want to say it was around like week 12 or so, where I didn't hit I wasn't over 500. It was a really rough week for everybody. And I actually told you going into the week that it was going to be a bad week. I just didn't know how bad it was going to be. And I said I didn't like my picks, and I think I actually finished 7-9 that week, if I'm not mistaken. And he finished 8-8, I think. 8-8, 9-7, something like that. He was pretty good. And so I said I was going to get everybody, and he was one of the people I said I was going to get, and I got him. And he talked trash last week on Twitter. Said, hey man, where you at? I've been smoking you the last couple of weeks. And of course he didn't say it like that, but yeah, that's generally how I took it. Any slight, how small, how big, it's a big slight to me, period, all right? So I took it upon myself to issue the challenge, and I said I was going to get him. Well, 9-7, not good enough to get me this week. And he had already told me, hey, we got all the same picks except one game. I got the Bears, you got the Lions. That game's going to decide who wins this week. And I had the Lions, and they took care of business in Chicago like I expected them to. And so to the victors go the spoils. I'm excited about that. 9-7 for Flash Gordon, but make no mistake about it. Like I said, over the last 6 or 7 weeks, if we took an aggregate of all of our picks and our totals, I think Flash Goodman would be leading the clubhouse right now. He has been phenomenal down the stretch, and he has definitely been a great acquisition here in the lab room. Hope to see you in the near future making more picks here in the lab room. Flash Goodman, 9-7 in week 17. Brown Shoes T2. Here's another guy late to the party. This is his first time sending picks. And he's a serious trash talker. He's one of those guys that thinks he knows everything, but he never sent me his picks. He would always leave them in random spots, never actually dropping them in the box where they belong. So I never acknowledged them. So now he finally decided when I said, hey, I'm going to do this thing for some money next season. He said, oh, well, I'll throw you some picks and give you a little taste of what's to come in the future. And then he went 8-8. And so you know how this league has a way of humbling people who think they know, but they have no idea. And especially when you want to come in the lab room and think you know what's going on, you're going to get blessed by the league. And I usually sick the dogs on you when you come in here and you think you know something, but you really don't. Well, I had to bless Brown Shoes T2 with an 8-8 and tell him go sit down and take a seat behind just about everybody else that are regulars here in the lab room. And so I'm not mad at the man for going 8-8 because it was a rough week. But again, don't be bringing that weak stuff in here, man, and thinking you're going to win. He had to comment something along the lines, hey, I'd love to win the money. You know, that's what I do. I'll sign up because I know I'm going to win the money. Really? You're going to win the money? Not doing 8-8? We don't do that around here. Just in case you don't know how it goes here, it's double digits, my man. So you want to step your game up if you think you're going to try to come in here and get a nice piece of change off of us. You have to go double digits consistently throughout the year to get that done, my man. 8-8, not going to get it done here in the lab room. Just in case you didn't know. Thought I'd let you know. Sean Hawk! My man Sean Hawk continues to be strong with his picks. In fact, he was the leader in the clubhouse this week, going 11-5. He was the best participant here in the lab room, got it done, and he's been doing his videos on his channel. And like I always do, I will have his link to his channel in the description box in the show notes down below. So if you want to check him out and give him a little shout out, please, by all means, do so. But he went 11-5 and had the Steelers as his sole survivor pick, which to me was the smartest pick to make. And he did it up, man. He won some of the tough games. I think he picked the Seahawks. That was the game that got him to 11 instead of 10 with the rest of us. He picked the Seahawks. I didn't see that coming. I just didn't. And he did, and he had the foresight to make that pick. And he said that was his upset pick, and it came through for him. And because of that, because he had the balls and the stones and the gumption to go out on the limb and go get the Seahawks and go get that W, he goes 11-5. And to the victors, like I always say, go the spoils. Sean Hawk, celebrate my man. And remember, he had one of the best weeks in the lab room history, just falling short of my record-setting mark of 15-1. I thought he was initially 15-1. He was 14-2, and so that's been the best mark all season long by anybody, including myself. So we know Sean Hawk's been really outstanding here in the lab room this year, and so my man Sean Hawk has been just a revelation here in the lab room, and I hope to see him in the future continuing to make picks here in the lab room. And if he's going to be one of the people competing, if we decide to do that, he's going to be a tough out because that guy makes some quality picks week in and week out. Insane juggernaut. Man, has it been a rough season for him or what? Inconsistency has been probably, outside of JT WWE, has been Insane Juggernaut's biggest problem. And I think JT WWE has probably been the most inconsistent of anybody here in the lab room this season. But Insane Juggernaut has to be frustrated because he said, I'm going to finish this season up strong. And he went 7-9. Woo! That's rough. It's real rough. And again, he went out on a limb on a lot of games, and I'm like, dude, you've been watching the league all season long. Come on, man. What are you doing? He was trying to be cute in week 17 and pick a bunch of upsets, and he was hoping he'd be on the right side of them, and he just frankly wasn't. And it happens that way sometimes, but not 7-9. I mean, all you had to do was just go chalk. If you just picked all the teams that were supposed to win, you probably would have went 9-7 this week. Okay, but 10-6 most likely. But he went outside the box, and the box closed, and he couldn't get back in. So he went 7-9. It's been an up and down season for Insane Juggernaut. He finished the season off very sloppily. Hopefully he'll turn it around come postseason time and make some strong picks in the postseason. But 7-9 for Insane Juggernaut in week 17. Protect! Check his blog out. I've got the link to his blog down in the show notes, and so check him out if you get a chance. He went 9-7 this weekend. That's a respectable total. It's not double digits. You know what we're about here in the lab room, so a little disappointed there, but 9-7, not bad. Again, week 17, it's a tough go of it. You can get got in week 17 just because you don't know. And so I didn't expect the Giants to lose to the Eagles. They had just fired Chip Kelly. They were getting Odell Beckham Jr. back. I thought they would have enough gas left in the tank to go win one for old ball coach Tom Coughlin. Obviously, I was wrong. They didn't have enough in the ball in the tank to win a ball game for the old ball coach. And just like that, Tom Coughlin's fired. Eagles get a win. Who knew? I didn't. And so neither did Protect. And that's how you go 9-7. And so another solid week of picking games for Protect, but he just missed out on double digits. But overall, it's a pretty good season for Protect making picks here in the lab room. Money Miz, my man Money Miz, the winner of the 3rd annual In the Lab Room Soul Survivor Pool, was not as successful here making picks. He struggled yet again, and remember, his struggles have started since he started talking trash. When he dropped that one little bomb on me, and it was a real subtle. I told you, any slights, small, big, medium size, doesn't matter. I take them all the same. They're all slights of epic proportions to me. So when he dropped me a little email with his picks, and above his picks he said, "Hey man, you tripped up a little bit last week. Watch your step." I get a kick out of that every time I read it. That's funny. I really enjoyed it. That was funny. Ever since he said that comment, he's been struggling. Last week was rough. This week, even worse. 7-9 for Money. 7-9 for Money Miz, boy. He finished the season up lousy. And I'm gonna just give you a little word of advice. Watch your step out there, man. You tripped up a little bit. It's been a couple of tough weeks for Money Miz, but all in all, he's still my boy. He won the Soul Survivor Pool, so he can brag about that. But he did not get it done. 7-9 last week, not a good mark at all to finish up the season. But Money Miz, still good peoples here in the lab room, making some solid. And he had some solid picks. He had a stretch there where he was really good too. He came back, he was at school, had the school thing going on, wasn't really able to give out picks. Then he had a break. He went on winter break, he came back, he gave me some picks. And he struggled initially, because you know, when you come into the lab room and you think you're just gonna pick up where you left off at, I'm gonna have to bless you. I'm gonna get the football gods on the case and they're gonna bless you. And that's what they did to him. They tightened him up, and then he started playing outstanding. I mean, his picks spot on week after week after week. Then he made the comment, and then I had to stick the football gods back on him again and tighten him up once more. So he finishes the season out rough on a nasty 2-week stretch. And 7-9 in week 17, that's not the way you want to lead the season. That's a bad taste to have in your mouth for the entire off season, if I may say so myself. Hopefully, he'll be able to make some good picks come postseason time. JT WWE, the winner of the most inconsistent award of the year goes to JT WWE in a landslide. It's not close. And 6-10 in week 17 is further proof that he is inconsistent. And I thought in week 17, he just covered his eyes and he pointed to a team and he picked them. His sheet was all over the place. And when you do that, that's how you end up 6-10. But at the end of the day, JT WWE, a loyal subscriber to this channel. He's always giving me picks. And I'd love for you to be in the lab room pool next season, donating your money to all of us. That would be great. But it was fun. JT WWE finishes up at 6-10 in week 17. I will be accepting any and all playoff picks. And if you're gonna give me picks, I want all of your picks. And I'll cut you some slack because this video is probably going to be released after the first game. And maybe it'll be on during that game. If you see this video, you have no business watching this video while football is actually being played. But if you do, and you got your picks, send them to me. Because I'm going to make picks. You already know what my picks are. If you watch my videos, you know all 4 of the teams that I think are going to get it done in wildcard weekend. And I'm going to give picks every single week of every single game of the postseason. And I'd like you to do the same. And I'd like to keep a running tally of all your records to see how everyone fares in the postseason. I finished up 10-6 in week 17, double digits. One better than my man Flash Goodwin. So I was able to put him back in his place to finish up the season. 165 over 91 is my overall record for the season. And that's a really respectable mark. That's over 70 games over 500, or excuse me, over 90 games over 500. So 94 to be exact. I'll take that every single day of the week. I would have loved to have gotten to 100 over 500, which is what my goal is before every season. But there was this has been a weird season, to say the least. I mean, teams that I thought were going to be good weren't. You had teams that started out like game busters, like the Falcons, that fizzled out. Packers did the same thing. They lose all 3 games at home within the division. They haven't done that since like the 1940s, 1930s. It's ridiculous. I mean, the season was crazy. So To be 94 games over 500, I feel damn good about what I've done this season. That's going to do it for me here in the Lab Room. I thank you for joining me on another successful season here in the Lab Room. What happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the Lab Room. Come back and join me as I continue to break down it and everything National Football League. See you for this playoff football. Enjoy. Bart Scott. Can't wait. There's plenty more where that came from. While you're here, subscribe to the channel. If you want more Louie T, be sure to follow me on Twitter @InTheLabRoom, or you can like the Facebook page @InTheLabRoom. That's In the Lab Room on Facebook and @InTheLabRoom on Twitter. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so.